I wanted to thank Karasu for being the first person to submit footage for the Get Good project, so I decided to make this video going off what he sent in. When I go over film actual matches during a season, I try to find almost every mistake that was made, but for the purposes of keeping this video short and sweet, I'll try to focus on more of the non-obvious things or strategic errors instead of things like flaccid grabs, which people already pretty much understand is a bad thing.
The television show, mind you. Yeah. Well, right now we have a...
For almost the first 3 minutes of the game, Karasu and Tinderfella didn't get out of base. There were a couple things they could have done to have more opportunities. The first thing is to not grab right before power-up spawn. LBT did this for both the first 2 rounds of power-ups, here and here.
Which is why we haven't said much.
You only want to grab before power-ups if either you absolutely cannot win a power-up or you have a high chance of getting out and threatening to cap before the power-up spawn, since doing that will force the opponent to choose between saving a cap or getting power-ups. The second thing is if you have no booster bombs to work with or the other team is defending them very well, you can try isolation plays. I might go more in depth into what an isolation play is in another video, as it's not really a common technique to use, but essentially it's where one attacker baits the player guarding him into coming a bit away from the flag and the other attacker getting on the inside to separate him from the flag. This gives the first attacker a 1v1 on the flag, and sometimes if you have a decent angle it can be a 2v1 for a few seconds. LBT was scored on twice in this 3-minute period. One of these caps could have been saved by using the bombs and boosts more effectively. On this play, Tinderfella takes the boost into the corner. Both attackers see this happen, so it's possible to have a feel for when it comes back up. You might say Tinderfella should have tried to boost in directly, but I think since Proboat has a juke juice and is positioned in a great spot, that a grab like that is not optimal. If nothing else, Karasu could have placed himself on the right side of the flag to try to draw the defender over, creating a backboard and giving Tinderfella a better chance to get out if he boosts in. Irony makes a great play to create chaos in base by bombing as Droof is coming in.
Well, here's one.
This type of play happens on other maps too, so it's something to watch out for. The bomb spawns well before Droofa gets out, so Karasu and Tinderfella actually have a chance to use it before Irony can. If they decide not to grab with it because they think it's too risky, they should still defuse it off the wall to prevent it from being used against them on Droofa's capping chance. It's hard to say whether Karasu could have saved this after he was bombed out, but since he was behind anyway, he should have attempted to time the boost spawn to save it. Even if you don't know exactly when the boost will spawn, you can assume that since it's been out for a while, you can walk over it and hope for a lucky spawn.
Well, here's one.
The second cap TMD had in the 3-minute period also could have been prevented. On this play, baseball is coming in a cap, and for a moment, Karasu and Tridowin are actually in a good position with the diamond formation, which is really useful in OD, but it quickly breaks down and Tridowin flaccid. At the same time, Tinderfella starts going backwards for what I'm assuming to be him trying to play anti, but Tinderfella is too far away from base at this point to safely attempt going back. Since baseball's already all the way in his own base attempting to cap, the result of this capping attempt will be decided well before Tinderfella can make it back to secure a reset. If you want to play anti, you do it usually when you're decently far behind the FC and they pass the midfield and you know that they're going into their own base. In this case, since Tinderfella had already reached the base, he should have kept chasing and then worry about how to get reset after the play was over. If he had done this, he probably would have been able to save the cap. In this play, Paps and Tinderfella are containing Droofa while also trying to win the power-ups. Paps gets too aggressive and tries to return the FC without help and gets blocked. In this scenario, Paps should focus on staying in front of both the block and the FC to slow them down instead of trying to get the return. Tinderfella also hesitates on the middle power-up and ends up losing it. I'm not sure why he would hesitate, but regardless, if Paps had stayed in front, LBT probably would have had enough time to win all 3 power-ups safely. This next play was a missed chance for a reset. Karasu was initially playing anti and then leaves to get the return. Tridewin initially stays safe but then goes for a kiss. The kiss happens right around the same time Karasu has a chance to snipe the FC. It would have been more effective if either Karasu continues to play anti while Tridewin kisses, or Tridewin keeps avoiding the kiss if Karasu has the chance to return the FC. By doing neither of these, the Mighty Ducks get a reset advantage. This type of play requires you to communicate it with your team, but I recognize that it's still a bit of an advanced play, and some majors teams don't even do it when they should, but it's really effective when done right. Here, Karasu takes the boost out and pops on the gate, possibly attempting to hand off to Tridewin for an out top, but this handoff would still be contained. Instead, it's probably better to stay near the boost to have the option of boosting through the gate or into and past Tinderfella like Tridewin does later in the game here.
Strong on the button. Oh, what a boost.
Tridewin could also come off regrab to secure the button to give Karasu an even better chance of getting out of base. And just to leave the video off on a positive note, here's a great defensive play by Karasu in a critical moment of his playoff game.
Trip picks up a tag. Tags have been a little dry so far. Not a ton. Irony paps out. Pass 3. Fractal's got to make a play here. He can't do it. Irony can't get to the flag. Doubled by Karasu and Tinder.
That's it for this first video. Again, thank you to Karasu for submitting the footage. If you like this kind of format or you have a cool idea for future videos, let me know because I'm still brainstorming ideas. All feedback is appreciated.